It's Mrs. Ferris from Wood Library, ready for some story time online. I've got my friend the horse with me today because our theme is cowboys. So gather around, buckaroos, and let's have our first story. In fact, well, Buckaroos is part of the title. This is called Giddy-up, Buckaroos. It's by Shandra Trent, illustrated by Tom Knight, and published by Tiger Tales. And before we start, I should let you know that there are some words that you may not understand because they're in another language. They're in Spanish. But I think you'll be able to figure them out, and I'll also tell you what they mean in English in case you're not sure. Giddy up, buckaroos. Here comes the sun. Let's sneak past the sheriff and round up some fun. Grab something tasty. Uno, dos, tres. No time to clean up, gotta scram from this place. Dash past the lobo that lives in his den. Andale, hurry, we fooled him again. The stagecoach, surround it, let's holler and hoot. Now head for the hills with his sack full of loot. Whoa, it's a rodeo, lasso that cow. Yippee, we caught her, caramba, meow. Raced round these barrels in clover leaf loops. Try not to tip them, que lastima, oops. The sheriff, she'll catch us. Whew, that was close. Que bueno, we lost her. Giddy up. Adios. Well, out in the desert, no agua in sight. Is there nothing to quench us? Here's something that might. You see what agua is? Water. Plip-plop goes the rain. Squish-squash goes the mud. The Rio, the river, is rising. Oh no, a flash flood. Rescue that lizard. We flooded his nest. Buckaroo heroes, the best in the West. Shucks, it's the sheriff. No, don't wash my shirt. Vaqueros take days to collect all this dirt. Our bellies are grumbling for something to eat. Follow your nose to the smell of mesquite. Roast armadillo, yum, rattlesnake stew. Here, give our amigo a bite of it too. Amigo is friend. Listen, what's that? The sheriff is near. She'll sneak up and brand us. Venga, hide here. Uh-oh, we're captured. We can't get away. Is this adios to our buckaroo day? Off to the bunkhouse, we make our retreat. Hats off our heads and boots off our feet. The night sky is glowing with twinkly stars. We sing with coyotes and strum our guitars. We're wrapped in our bedrolls and snuggled in tight. Buckaroo's bedtime. Buenos noches. Good night. And when you get to the end of the book, if you aren't able to figure out what all of those Spanish words are, there's something called a glossary, which lists the word, how to say it, and what it means in English. All right, buckaroos, are you ready to do a new kind of finger play? I don't think we've ever done this before. And what we're going to do for it is we're going to be slapping our thighs, okay? And we're going to be horses. The horses are walking, they're walking along, walking along, walking along. The horses are walking, they're walking along. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you think? We can go a little faster? Let's try. Let's trot. So we're gonna. The horses are trotting, they're trotting along, trotting along, trotting along. The horses are trotting, they're trotting along. whoa, whoa, whoa. So we've walked and we've trotted, but I think we could still go a little faster, don't you? Shall we try galloping? That means you're going to go really fast like this, okay? The horses are galloping, they're galloping along, galloping along, galloping along. The horses are galloping, they're galloping along. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, well, let's try another book. And this is called There Once Was a Cowpoke Who Swallowed an Ant. Cowpoke is another name for cowboy. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to swallow an ant. I don't think I'd like to swallow a hot pepper either. This story is by Helen Ketteman with pictures by Will Terry, and it's published by Albert, Whitman and Company. Now there once was a cowpoke who swallowed an ant, a fiery thing with a Texas-sized sting. The cowpoke panted and his voice got higher. Yippee-ki-yay, my stomach's on fire. So he swallowed a spider, leggy and hairy, that was big as a bat and horribly scary. He swallowed the spider to bite the ant that was stinging his stomach and making him pant. But Spider's legs wiggled and waggled, and the cowpoke's stomach jiggled and jaggled. So he swallowed a roadrunner. That's a bird that lives out west. He swallowed a roadrunner, hungry and lean, to dash right in and clean up the scene. He swallowed the roadrunner to eat the spider, to bite the ant that was stinging his stomach and making him pant. But Roadrunner ran so lightning quick that Cowpoke started to get seasick. So he swallowed a lizard, a horned spiky critter that was scratchy to swallow and terribly bitter. He swallowed the lizard to chase the roadrunner, to eat the spider, to bite the ant that was stinging his stomach and making him pant. But the lizard's skin was scritchy, and the cowpoke's stomach got terribly itchy. So he swallowed a dillo, armadillo that is, the 9-banded type that was hard as a rock and smelled really ripe. He swallowed the dillo to scare the lizard, to chase Roadrunner, to eat the spider, to bite the ant that was stinging his stomach and making him pant. But Dillo's claws were sharp as a pointy old rake, so the cowpoke rustled a rattle-tailed snake. Then he swallowed that snake to catch the Dillo, to scare the lizard, to chase Roadrunner, to eat the spider, to bite the ant that was stinging his stomach and making him pant. But Snake made his rattle shiver and shake, and the cowpoke's whole body quivered and quaked. So he swallowed a boar, that's a wild pig, nasty and mean, with the sharpest tusks he'd ever seen. But the boar's tusks jabbed the cowpoke instead, and the cowpoke shouted, "I wish I was dead." He swallowed the boar to poke the snake, to catch the Dillo, to scare the lizard, to chase Roadrunner, to eat the spider, to bite the ant that was stinging his stomach and making him pant. So he swallowed a longhorn with horns like a lance. I reckon this critter might be my last chance. He swallowed the longhorn to trample the boar, to poke the snake, to catch the Dillo, to scare the lizard, to chase Roadrunner, to eat the spider, to bite the ant that was stinging his stomach and making him pant. Well, when Longhorn showed up, Boar set off like a flash. Longhorn couldn't catch him to turn him to mash. The Cowpoke got mad and stomped on his hat. I'll just do it myself, I reckon that's that. Then he saddled his horse and took his rope off the shelf. If I want it done right, I'll just do it myself. So he swallowed the rope, and he swallowed his horse, and then he swallowed himself. Of course. He swallowed himself to lasso the Longhorn, to trample the boar, to poke the snake, to catch the dill, to scare the lizard, to chase Roadrunner, to eat the spider, to bite the ant that was stinging his stomach and making him pant. He jumped on his horse and rode with great speed and lassoed the Longhorn to start the stampede. And finally, this is all inside his stomach. I don't know how he can be in his stomach. But out raced the Longhorn with the lasso flapping. Out followed Boar with his hooves just a tapping. Out slithered Snake in a very fast crawl. Out came the Dillo rolled up in a ball. Out skittered Lizard, hot on his trail. Out followed Roadrunner, nipping his tail. Out raced the Spider, Jackrabbit fast, and then at last came the ant, rid of at last. Well, the Cowpoke climbed off his horse. Whew, I'm spent. My get-up has got up and went. So he pulled off his boots and his hat off his head, and he shuffled inside and fell into bed. And that's the end. I hope he won't swallow an ant again. That really wasn't much fun. Well, I don't know about you. I wouldn't eat an ant, but I certainly would eat a hot dog. So shall we get our 5 hot dogs ready? I think cowboys would eat hot dogs cooked over an open fire. Well, I've got 5 little hot dogs just cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. So 4 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 3 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 2 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 1 little hot dog is cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. So now no little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and the pan went bam. Our next story is called Rodeo Red. It's written by Maripat Perkins with pictures by Molly Idle, and it's published by Peachtree. Do you like her horse? I go by the name of Rodeo Red. My best friend in all the world is my hound dog, Rusty. Rusty and me had always been happier than 2 buttons on a new shirt until side-swiping Slim showed up. It's baby brother. Now, the first time our eyes met, I knew Slim was trouble. He looked as slippery as a snake's belly in a mudslide. I thought for sure anybody who hollered that much would be hauled to the edge of town and told to skedaddle. But the sheriff and the deputy seemed smitten. Slim lay low for a while, but gradually he started moving to my territory. I'd come home to find my belongings all in a tumble, my spurs missing, and grape jelly smeared on my favorite hat. Well, I tried reasoning with Slim. I showed him the border between his camp and mine. But that scallywag talked nothing but gibberish. He just moseyed back over into my ranch just like he owned the place. Finally, I threw in the sponge, I didn't want nothing more to do with that cantankerous lemon custard. And then, one day, Rusty weren't nowhere to be found. I looked everywhere for him. I knew right then that Slim was up to his side-swiping ways, and it was time for us to go toe-to-toe, eyeball to eyeball. Late that night, I snuck into Slim's camp, and there he was, sawing logs. That means he was snoring. And poor Rusty was in his clutches. Well, I eased up and tried to slip Rusty out real gentle-like, but Slim was squeezing that dog tighter than a greenhorn riding a bucking bronco. I tugged and pulled, but it weren't no use. "Dag burn it, Slim," I hollered. "Give me back my dog." Well, that woke him up, and he set to squalling like a fire truck heading to a wiener roast gone bad. And in 2 shakes, the deputy was in there telling me to get. Wouldn't you know it, Slim would have the law on his side. Well, I went back to my ranch feeling lower than a prairie dog's basement. I just had to get Rusty back. So the next day, I snuck back into Slim's camp. I swung my rope and caught Rusty round the middle. But Slim lit into a fit loud enough to cause a stampede. And when the sheriff showed up, oh, well, what followed wasn't pretty. She dropped me in a holding cell quicker than you could say lickety-split, and I was madder than a bee in a Sunday bonnet. When the sheriff finally let me out, I decided to drown my sorrows and grab some grub. Halfway through my second cookie, I heard a commotion. Why, the stagecoach had arrived with the mail. And glory be, there was a package for me, and it was a belated birthday gift from Aunt Sal. Now, Aunt Sal is a good old gal, but truth be told, she's a city slicker. I was hoping for a sturdy set of boots or a good piece of rope, but instead I got some sort of varnished varmint. It looked lazy and addle-brained to me. I doubted it could even keep mice out of the barn. Do you see what it was? It was a toy cat, yeah. And then, then an idea lit up my noggin. I sauntered into Slim's camp, bold as a new nickel. I had the sissified simpleton in my arms, cuddling it like it was the best thing I could ever think to do. Slim's eyes shone like 2 full moons, and he stretched out his hands and said, "Gimme, gimme, gimme." Well, I took my time, petting it real slow, like. "You want this critter?" I looked him square in the eye. "You gotta give me back my dog." Slim hesitated. His eyes darted back and forth between Rusty and that fussy feline. I could tell he was weighing things out. But the sight of that dolled-up dandy was finally too much for him. He handed over Rusty like he was a hot coal at a barbecue. And after that, Slim didn't pay Rusty no never mind. He hugged that frilly varmint like he'd found his best friend for life. There's no accounting for taste, but what do I care? I had Rusty back where he belonged, safe in my arms. It was time to put my boots up for a spell before the next adventure. I tucked Rusty in close, and then we headed back to the ranch, happier than 2 freckles on a sunny cheek. I'm glad she got Rusty back. It's hard to have to share a toy, isn't it? Well, let's do a finger play, and I really don't know many about cowboys, but I suppose cowboys could jump on the bed just the same way monkeys do, couldn't they? In fact, I bet they'd like to do it. So get your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cowboys ready and get their bunk all set. Well, there were 5 little cowboys jumping on the bed. When one fell off, oh, he bumped his head. So his mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, "No more cowboys jumping on the bed." So 4 little cowboys were jumping on the bed. One fell off and he bumped his head. So his mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, "No more cowboys jumping on the bed." So that means 3 little cowboys were jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So his mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, "No more cowboys jumping on the bed." So that leaves 2 little cowboys jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, "No more cowboys jumping on the bed." So that leaves, did you say 1? 1 little cowboy jumping on the bed. When she fell off, oh, she bumped her head. So her mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, "No more cowboys jumping on the bed." So let's sing a lullaby with the Brave Cowboy. This is a book written and illustrated by Jan Thomas and published by Beach Lane Books. Time to hit the hay, little cows. It's time for little cows to rest their heads. It's time for little cows to go to bed. It's time for little cows to sleep so tight. It's time for us to say, "Eek!" Is that a huge hairy spider over there? It's just a flower, cowboy. Oh. Well, let's try that lullaby again, shall we? It's time for little cows to rest their heads. It's time for little cows to go to bed. It's time for little cows to sleep so tight. It's time for us to say, "Eek!" Is that a slimy, slithering snake right there? It's just a stick, cowboy. Oh. But is there a large, lumbering bear behind me? It's just me, cowboy. Oh. Hey, I see how this works. It may look like a huge, shaggy gray wolf over there. Grrr. And it may sound like one too. Eek! But it's probably just a big, giant bunny rabbit, right? No, cowboy, it's a wolf. Do wolves like lullabies? Like them? We love them. Well, alrighty then. It's time for us to rest our heads. It's time for us to go to bed. It's time for us to sleep so tight. It's time for us to say good night. And I think it's time for us to have our flannel board story. This is a story called Clip-Clop, and it's from a book by Nicola Smee. So the first thing we need is our horse. Let's see if I can get him up here nice and straight. You can come down just a little bit, horse, because I want some room for you. How's that? All right. Well, Mr. Horse is ready to take a trip. Who wants to come? Well, Cat wants to come. Up you get, Cat. Who else wants to come? Dog wants to come. Up you get, dog. And guess what? Pig wants to come. Up you get, pig. Oh, wait. Duck wants to come. Up you get, duck. Now, everybody, hold on, because here we go. Up, up to the top, and down, down to the ground, and then, whoa! That was fun. Well, those are our stories today, Buckaroos. I hope you had fun, and we'll be back next week with some more stories for Storytime Online. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.